This bread is too expensive. Guess we just have to steal it.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Wake up, are you okay?
What's happening?
Why'd you steal that bread?
It was taxed so high, I couldn't afford it. Neither could most people I know.
That reminds me of a time. 18th century France. The revolution begins.
I'm King Louis XIV of France. Maintaining a lavish lifestyle is my top priority, even if it means I need to dip into national funding. But how do I make up for this financially? I raise taxes. Because of my funding of the American Revolution, my own country is in debt. How do I solve this? Higher taxes.
We work all day and all night and still barely can afford to feed.
I know, but it's not like there's anything we can do about it.
People are dying because they can't afford the food. What should we do?
I think a lot of this stems from representation.
You're so right. The people in power like King Louis don't know what it's like to be in the working class, so therefore they don't know how to handle the economic issues and it won't benefit us. How are we going to change this?
Now, much of why the French Revolution occurred can be attributed to the fact that the age of enlightenment occurred years prior. New ideologies, which included challenging powers that be for better government were emerging. This really affected the occurrence of the revolution.
I got it! We'll protest for government reform. Our socioeconomic class, the third estate, needs representation. Come on!
The storming of Bastille in 1789 marks the true beginning of the French Revolution. Thousands of revolutionaries violently insisted that the prisoners of Bastille be freed. This marked the first victory of the French revolutionaries against the government and the start of the revolution.
Okay, but how did storming a prison begin a revolution as famous as the French? What happened after?
Great question. Well, the storming of Bastille was only a precursor to a revolution that would be marked by great violence and somewhat extremist viewpoints. But to really understand the French Revolution, we have to first understand the governments that France went through during this time.
Today we are going to be talking about the French governments throughout the Revolution. In the beginning we have the Estates General. It was a representative assembly of the three estates. The first estate being clergy, and the second estate consisting of aristocrats, and the third estates being the peasants and merchant class. A huge grievance of the third estate and a leading cause of the revolution was, although the third estate made up most of the population, the representation in the Estates General was the smallest.
Following the Estates General was the National Assembly, which lasted from 1789 to 1791. During the time of the National Assembly, third estate representation increased heavily, and the first attempt to overthrow King Louis XIV occurred.
Next was the Legislative Assembly, which lasted from 1791 to 1792. It was similar to the National Assembly because most of its members were in fact part of the National Assembly. However, a prime difference was that 330 of its members were part of a group called the Jacobins, which were extreme revolutionaries.
The next government of the French Revolution was the First Republic. The First Republic lasted from 1793 to 1795. The motto of the First Republic was liberty, equality, and brotherhood. In January of 1795, the First Republic executed King Louis XIV. Between 1793 and 1794, thousands of people were killed under the Committee of Public Safety just because they were royalists and supported King Louis. Despite chaos plaguing France, the government started a military draft to prepare for internal war. Soon, the mastermind of the terror, Robespierre, was overthrown. That was the end of the First Republic.
The Directory was the final government. It lasted from November of 1795 to November of 1799. It has an upper house and a lower house. The lower house, this Council of 500, contained 500 delegates who proposed legislation for the government. The upper house, the Council of Ancients, contained 250 delegates who accept or veto what is proposed by the Council of 500. Also, the Ancients pick 5 executive directors from lists drawn up by the 500. The 5 executives then choose army generals, ambassadors, tax collectors, etc. for the government. So, did the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte come after this? Because I know a lot about him, but not this other stuff.
Napoleon rose into power in 1799 after the fall of the Directory.
That's what I thought. In 1799, military leader Napoleon Bonaparte became head of France and pioneered many reforms to become the biggest European power.
I'm Napoleon. As the first post-revolutionary French ruler, my main priority is spreading enlightened ideas and making France a very important global power. However, sadly, my attempts in conquering other nations will ultimately fail, and I will be exiled to live on an island for the rest of my days. Despite my flawed methods, my leadership does showcase much of the impact of the French Revolution. The fact I ruled outside royal blood, the fact that I tried to promote enlightened secular knowledge, and the fact that I insisted on strong adherence to new emerging ideas of equality from the revolution show how much the revolution changed the government construct of France, at least for a time.
Wow, who thought that stealing bread could have such an impact historically? Thanks for teaching me about the revolution.
Anytime!